You might remember me as a girl who completely lost the battle with her pool last summer. Nothing worked, everything broke. At one point, I was even putting magic erasers in the pool, which you should absolutely not do, by the way. We eventually got the pool clean, but the algae kept coming back. We were brushing and vacuuming every other day, and I was exhausted. So the very last thing we tried was changing the sand in the filter, and sand immediately started blasting back into the pool. That's when it hit me. We spent the entire summer thinking we were fighting algae, but it was literally just sand. Fast forward to today, thankfully we closed the pool before all the leaves fell last fall, so there wasn't actually too many in the pool. There's only about 60 pounds of leaves and pine needles on top. I went to go grab our pool net from the shed, and apparently it had been run over by the lawnmower a couple times, so I used a croquet hammer to bend it back into shape, and honestly it worked perfectly. Then it was time to tackle the terrifying green swamp sitting in the middle of that pool cover. This took forever. My arms were burning. It smelled exactly like the Rock River out here, and flies immediately started to show up. I'm leaving the leaf piles out overnight before I rake them because I'm hoping the smell just diffuses into the atmosphere. There was still water sitting on top of the cover, so I had John stick a leaf blower underneath because I thought it would create this giant bubble and launch water across the yard, and it absolutely did not do that. But it did push the water and the leaves around, which would have been super helpful before I scooped everything by hand. After how horrible our filter and pump were last year, we finally decided to replace both of them this season, so John got started putting those together. Then it came to the moment of truth. We pulled off the cover expecting a complete disaster, and honestly, it wasn't even that bad, just some algae and a couple leaves. Last year, there was basically an entire oak tree living in this thing. We lost a ton of water over winter, so we started filling it back up while the old, nasty cover water slid into the pool like some kind of murky swamp monster. Meanwhile, John kept working outside even after the sun went down and it got freezing. Then when we went to plug the new pump in and discovered it had this weird giant three-prong plug that absolutely did not fit into our outlet, I was about 5 seconds away from taking an axe to the entire pool, but John called the pool store, and apparently there's an $8 adapter for it. Crisis officially averted. Then I dumped in 2 gallons of shock and let it circulate for an hour before realizing I still had to brush the walls and floor so the algae would mix in properly. And at that point, I was once again considering the axe. After brushing everything down, we unplugged the pump and sprayed this Revive stuff all over the top of the water. Supposedly, it grabs all the debris and sinks it to the bottom for easy cleanup. So follow for part 2 to see if it actually works or if I finally have to learn how to swing an axe.